Okay, so let's start our today's session. Can you hear me, guys? Yes, students, tell me. Can you hear me? Yes. Am I audible? Okay. So as we have discussed in the previous class about we have started this chapter exploring forces, and we have completed that part 1. Today is the part 2, and we are going to discuss about the weight. We are going to discuss about the force. Okay, so we are going to discuss about the buoyancy. We are going to discuss all these factors. Okay, we will discuss about the gravity also in detail. Okay, so before starting, again, let me introduce myself. My name is Sudip Pandey. I have done my post-graduation in MSc Physics from NIT Karnataka. Okay, and I have total of 5 years of teaching experience. So again, let me tell you about SISYA class. आप SISYA class में enroll कर सकते हैं. You can go to the booster course. You can also apply to the math CHAM course, SISYA topper program. Okay, so आप इन सब चीज़ें में enroll कर सकते हैं. It's just that आपको जाना है sisyaclass.com/LTC पे and just click on any button, class 6, class 7, class 8. You can choose any of the options and you can enroll. After that, आपको क्या करना है? You have to enter your mobile number, you have to enter your location, then you can book the demo class. So हमारे mentors आपको call करेंगे and even you can also talk to our counselor. So yeah. So today what we are going to discuss? We are going to discuss about weight and gravity. पहले weight gravity के बारे में बात करेंगे. Then we'll discuss about mass versus weight. We'll discuss about buoyant force. We'll discuss about floating and sinking of objects. Then we'll discuss about the factors affecting floating and sinking. Then what are the applications for buoyancy? And in last we'll discuss about some questions. हम कुछ questions भी करेंगे, okay? जो कि आपके important हैं for your exams. Now, what is weight? In the previous class only I told you what is weight, right? अभी weight क्या होता है उसको डिटेल में समझते हैं, right? So what is weight? What is weight? Weight is a force actually. So आपने सुना होगा like someone ask you, tell me what is your weight, right? So you are going to tell them that my weight is 50 kg, right? Like my weight is 60 kg. So you are used to do these things like my weight is 50 kg, my weight is 60 kg, right? But that is not the correct thing. Yes, because the unit of weight is not kg, right? Weight is actually a force. Weight is not mass. Weight and mass both are different things. Remember this thing, that weight and mass are completely different concepts. They are not the same thing. So what is weight actually? Weight is a force which Earth exerts on any object. What is weight? Weight is a force with which Earth pulls an object towards itself, and this attractive force is called as weight. Okay, so what is weight? Weight is nothing but weight is a force. Weight is a force which Earth exert on any object towards its center. This is clear? Yes? Okay. So what is weight? I told you what is weight. Weight is a force. Just remember this thing, weight and mass both are completely different concept. Okay, from next time if someone asks you what is your weight, don't tell this thing that my weight is 50 kg. What you have to tell them that my weight is 50 Newton. Why? Because if weight is a force, then definitely if the unit of force is Newton, then unit of weight is also Newton, right? So tell them that my weight is 50 Newton, not 50 kg. This is clear? So since weight is a force, it is measured in the same unit as that of force, that is Newton. Okay, so this is the key point, that weight is a force and it is not the amount of matter. Okay, we'll discuss about this formula in detail, that what is weight is equal to mg. We'll discuss in this formula in detail. Okay, now how you are going to measure this weight? What is the device you are going to use? So have you ever seen this device? क्या आपने कभी देखा है ऐसी डिवाइस? कभी भी देखा है, right? Tell me. At your home for sure, I think so, you have seen this device, right? This is known as spring balance. spring balance, right? So we use this device to measure our weight. Okay, this is clear. So weight is measured using a spring balance. And on what principle your this spring balance works? तो ये आपने पहले देखा होगा. लेट सपोज इफ यू वांट टू मेजर द, इवन आपके घर में सिलेंडर भी आते होंगे, सो यू यूज दिस वेइंग बैलेंस, राइट? स्प्रिंग बैलेंस, सॉरी. So spring balance works on the principle of, like, when spring stretches when force is applied. Spring stretches when force is applied. So this spring balance works on the principle of this, that when spring stretches the force is applied, and more is the weight of the object, greater will be the extension of a spring balance. This is clear? This is clear? Yes, tell me. तो किस पे काम करता है, किस प्रिंसिपल पे काम करता है? इट वर्क्स ऑन द प्रिंसिपल दैट स्प्रिंग स्ट्रेचेस व्हेन फोर्स इज अप्लाइड. सो दिस इज हाउ वी आर गोइंग टू मेजर द वेट. ओके, दिस इज क्लियर? ओके, इफ यू हैव एनी डाउट यू कैन आस्क मी. ओके, नाउ व्हाट इज ग्रेविटी? अब ग्रेविटी के बारे में हम बहुत डिटेल में बात करने वाले हैं, ठीक है? सो व्हाट इज ग्रेविटी? ग्रेविटी इज द फोर्स दैट पुल्स ऑब्जेक्ट टुवर्ड्स द अर्थ. व्हाट इज ग्रेविटी? इफ आई विल, लेट्स सपोज if I am going to drop this pen, what is going to happen? Tell me what is going to happen. It will fall, right? Why? Because earth is exerting the force, and earth is pulling these objects towards its center. Okay, so this is what we call as gravity. इसको हम gravity कहते हैं. It acts on everything around us. Okay, it's not like एक particular object पे act कर रहा है. This is clear? It acts on each and every object. This is clear now? This is clear? Okay, now I'm explaining you this with the example. Let's suppose, अभी होता क्या है, that let's suppose I told you that gravitational force is between each and every object. ये हमारे बीच में भी, let's suppose this pen and me also am exerting a force. Okay, let's suppose this mobile and me are also exerting the force. Then why we are not attracting? हम attract क्यों नहीं हो रहे हैं एक दूसरे से? Why? Because I will explain you with this example. Let's suppose एक बहुत से बड़े मैग्नेट पे आप खड़े हैं, ठीक है? You're standing on a very big magnet, and what you are doing, let's suppose you are holding two small magnets. Those small magnets आपने hold किए हुए हैं. Okay, now tell me, if I will ask you, क्या ये दोनों small magnets attract करेंगे, या this small magnet is going to attract with the big magnet? Tell me champs, tell me, क्या ये दो magnets अपने आप में attract करने वाले हैं, या एक big magnet जो बड़ा big magnet है वो small magnet से attract करेगा? Tell me. Yes, so the answer is these small magnets are going to attract a big magnet, right? Why? Because the magnetic force exerted by the big magnet is more than that of this small magnet. This is clear? Yes. So same happens with the earth also. Earth is like a huge magnet, giant magnet. तो वो जो gravitational force exert कर रहा है वो comparatively large है, extension large है compared to that of us. This is clear? This is clear? तो ये अर्थ एक बड़ा सा मैग्नेट है, ऐसे सोचिए आप, और हम लोग छोटे छोटे मैग्नेट्स हैं. This is clear now? तो ग्रेविटेशन फोर्स is between us also, is just that comparatively to that it is less. This is clear now? Any doubt? Do you have any doubt, बेटा? Okay, okay. तो इसको ऐसे समझना है. Next is what are the importance of gravity? कहाँ पे इसकी importance we will discuss about one by one. तो first is you have seen that Earth is revolving around the sun, right? Even the planets are all revolving around the sun. Okay, so it is because of gravity only. ये gravity की वजह से ही possible है. That the force that is responsible for binding us to Earth. This is the first importance of gravity. Second is the motion of moon around the Earth. Even the moon is also revolving around the Earth, right? And it is because of gravity only. Then the third one is the motion of planets around the sun. So this is the third importance of gravity. This is clear? Yes? Okay. So these are some importance of gravity. Now how this gravity and weight are related. What is weight? I told you weight is a force of gravity acting on an object, and it caused by the earth's pulls on the object. And how they are related? More the mass of an object, more is the weight. Okay, जितना ज़्यादा mass होगा इतना ज़्यादा weight होगा. Weight depends on mass. So greater the mass of an object, greater is the weight of that object. This is clear? So this is how the mass and weight will depend on each other. This is clear? We'll discuss about the mass also. Okay, mass and weight, how the mass and weight are different from each other. We'll discuss about it. Okay, this is clear, my dear student. This is clear. Any doubt? Yes. Okay, okay. Now, I told you that we are going to discuss about the formula also, how the weight and mass are interrelated. Okay, so as we have discussed in the previous class that force is equal to mass into acceleration. Yes, we have discussed this thing, right? That what is force? Force is equal to mass into acceleration. Right? Now, when we talk with respect of weight, what is weight? Weight is the force that earth exerts on any object, right? So here the mass will come as mass only, but the acceleration will change with the acceleration due to gravity, and this is the acceleration which earth exerts on any object. Okay, so we'll write this formula as weight is equal to mass into acceleration due to gravity. Now this weight will become as weight is equal to mg, and here m stands for what? M stands for mass and g stands for acceleration due to gravity, and the value of this g is fixed. G is equal to 9.8 meter per second square. Okay, so this is for earth. Okay, this is for earth. This is clear, and you are going to learn this thing that, so for now if I will tell you this is fixed, but just remember this thing that it is also going to change from pole to equator. Okay, the value of g is different on pole and the value of g will be different on equator. Remember this thing. Okay, this is clear. Yes, the value of acceleration due to gravity is maximum at pole. Okay, you are going to learn these things in the upcoming classes, in the higher classes, that the value of g is maximum at poles, while it is less compared to that of pole on the equator. Okay, this is clear. Yes, yes, and it depends like from where. Let's suppose if you are going to the moon, we'll discuss about that also, कि moon पे क्या होता है g की value, Jupiter value क्या होती है g की. So we are going to discuss each and everything. Okay, so it depends on the mass of planet also. The value of this g depends on the mass of planet. It depends on the mass of planet. It depends on the radius of the planet. This is clear? Yes, this is clear. So the value of this g depends on the mass of planet also, and depends on the radius of planet also. Okay, so if you are going to Jupiter, so for sure the value of g is going to increase by huge amount. Okay, ये सारी चीजें हम डिस्कस करते हैं अभी. This is clear now? Any doubt? Yes, you can ask me if you have any doubt. Okay, now I told you we are going to discuss about the earth versus moon also. Now as we know, the mass of earth is huge, like it's compared to that of moon. The mass of moon, if I will tell you comparatively, let's suppose the mass of earth is near about 1000 times that of mass of moon, and the radius of earth is near about 4 times that of radius of moon. Okay, now there is one formula. Just remember this formula. The value of g will calculate the value of g for the earth is equal to capital G into mass of earth divided by radius of earth square. Okay, so this is somewhat higher level. This is for somewhat like it's not there in your syllabus, but थोड़ा बहुत हम extra पढ़ेंगे आज. ठीक है, so just समझिए इसमें that this me is mass of earth. This is mass of earth. I'm just trying to tell you that how the value of g is different from that of moon. The value of earth like the value of the acceleration due to gravity on earth, how it is different from that of moon. तो ये हम समझते हैं सारी चीजें. So this is mass of earth, let's suppose, and this is the radius of earth. This is radius of earth. Okay, and as I told you, the mass of earth is 1000 times that of mass of moon, and the radius of earth is 4 times that of radius of moon. अब इसको हम put करते हैं इस equation में. So what you are going to get g 1000 times mass of moon divided by 4 times radius of moon square, right? So if we further solve this thing, what we are going to get g 1000 mass of moon divided by 16 times. So 4 square is 16 and rm square. So if you will calculate this thing, what you are going to get? Tell me. Yes, this is 4, then this is 250, right? So if you will calculate this thing, tell me what you are going to get. Yes, it is around it is around, if you will see this, it is around 4 times, right? Tell me, it is around 4 times that of, see again, there is one change. I think the mass of earth is not 1000 times, it is 100 times that of moon. Okay, just correct this thing. Mass of earth is 100 times that of moon. And if you will just correct this also, if you will replace this thing as, let's suppose this GE is equal to G 1000 times that of, not 1000, 100 times that of mass of moon, divide by 4 times that of radius of moon square. This is also square, so you will get GE is equal to G mass of moon divided by 100 divided by 16. Now tell me what you are going to get. So this is 100 by 16. So 100 by 16 is, if you will calculate this thing, so 25 divided by 4. So it's near about 6, right? So GE is nearly about G of moon into 6 times. And if you will see this thing, so GM is equal to GE by 6. So what I'm trying to tell you that the acceleration due to gravity at moon is 6 times less than that of earth. Remember this thing, the value of acceleration due to gravity on moon is 6 times less than that of earth. Okay, so let's suppose the weight of any object, is 60 Newton on the earth. Now tell me what is the weight of that object onto the moon. Tell me. Yes, it will be weight 60 divided by 6, so that is 10 Newton. This is clear. So just remember this thing, that on the moon the gravity is about 1/6 of the earth gravity, and therefore your weight on the moon becomes 1/6 that of earth. This is clear now. Yes, but remember this thing, the mass is not going to change. We'll discuss about the mass in the upcoming slides, that what is mass. Okay, this is clear. Do you have any doubts in this? Tell me. If you have any doubt, you can ask me. Yes, no doubts. Okay. So just remember this thing, and remember this thing, that the mass of earth is near about, I'm not telling you that this is the exact amount, the mass of earth is near about 100 times that of moon. And if you calculate this thing, you will get that G of earth is near about 6 times that of G of moon. This is clear now? Okay. Now, so these are some gravity scales. One by one, if you'll see, for the Venus, if you are 50, if let's suppose your mass is about 50 pound, then on Venus it will be 45.5. Then on Earth again same 50. Then Mars 19. And see, just observe this thing. Your mass is 2.5, around 2.5 times that of Earth on Jupiter. Remember this thing, 12.6. Okay, so 50 into 2.5 is near about 12.6, right? This is clear. And even on Saturn it is 53.5. So this is the gravity scales on different planets. This is clear. So just remember this thing, that the acceleration due to gravity depends on the mass of the planet, and it depends on the radius of the planet also. More is the radius, lesser will the value of G on that of planet. This is clear now? Okay. Now, what are the factors that affect this gravitational force? Okay, so we'll teach you about this thing by one very good example. Let's suppose there are two mass. There is one mass m1 and second mass is m2, and they are separated by distance r. Now, the force of attraction between these two masses is actually directly proportional to the product of masses. Directly proportional means more is the mass of the object, more is the force on that object. This is clear. And it is inversely proportional to the square of distance between them. Means this gravitational force, actually, let's suppose the distance between two objects is like this. Okay, and the force, let's suppose the force is 5 Newton. If I am going to increase the distance by some amount, for sure the force is going to decrease. Okay, so if I am increasing the distance between two objects, for sure the gravitational force is going to decrease. So just remember this thing, that it depends on the mass of object. Greater the mass of the object, greater will be the gravitational force. And it depends on the distance between the objects also. Means greater the distance, weaker the gravitational force. This is clear. More is, let's suppose if you are increasing the distance by 5 times, then what will happen? The force is going to decrease by 25 times. This is clear now? Yes? Yes? Any doubt? Okay, okay. Fine. So just remember this thing depends on 2 factors, that is mass and distance. Now, what is mass? So we are discussing about mass in this class, like what is mass. We have to discuss about what is mass. We have discussed about the weight also. Now, what is different from the weight? What is mass? Let's suppose if you have any object, okay, so the amount of matter present in that object is what we call as mass. So what is mass? Mass is the amount of matter present in any object, and it tells us how much material an object contains. This is clear. So just tell me, the amount of matter present in any object is going to change or not. Let's suppose if you are on Earth, let's suppose if you are on Moon, okay, so that mass is going to change or not? Yes, the amount of matter is not going to change, right? It remains constant everywhere. Let's suppose if you are on Jupiter, if you are on Saturn, that is not going to change, right? What is going to change? Weight, not mass. So mass remains constant everywhere, and it does not change whether the object is on Earth or on the Moon. This is clear now? Now you got this thing, how weight and mass are both different concept, how they are different. Yes, ये चीज क्लियर हुई सबको? Tell me, इसमें किसी कोई डाउट? Okay, okay. Now, mass is independent of gravity. Just remember this thing, that it is a scalar quantity and it doesn't depend on any acceleration due to gravity. Now, the SI unit of mass is kg. SI unit of mass is kg. Even we measure mass in grams also. Okay. Now, as I told you that any time if someone asks you what is weight, what is your weight, just tell them that my weight is 660 Newton. Let's suppose my weight is 70. Okay, so then in that case you have to tell 70 Newton, not 70 kg. Okay, just remember this thing. Now, what are the differences between mass and weight? One by one we will discuss. The mass is the amount of matter present in any object. What is weight? The force exerted on an object due to the gravity. So this is the first difference. Second is, it is measured in kilograms, and weight it measures in Newton or pounds. Now, the third thing, it remains constant regardless of the location, and for the weight it varies dependent on the location and gravitational pull. Okay, as we have discussed this thing. Now, the fourth, the property of object. So the mass depends, mass is what? Mass is a property of an object. While what is weight? Weight is nothing, weight is a force. Weight is a force. Now the fifth thing, what is fifth? What is mass? Mass determines how an object responds to the forces. What is mass? Mass determines how an object responds to the forces. Now what is weight? Weight determines the force required to support or move an object. This is clear. So let's suppose if in the exam they are asking you these differences, so you for sure you can write 4 of these differences. Any 4 of the differences you can choose and you can write. This is clear? Any doubt in these differences? Yes, so this is very important. So many times they are going to ask you these differences. What is the difference between the mass and weight? Okay, so be prepared for that also. Now we are going to the next topic, that is flotation. Now think about it one by one. First is, let's suppose, why does a wooden log float on water? First question. Second is, why does an iron nail sink? And third is, why does a huge ship made up of iron float? So have you ever think about it कि एक छोटा सा iron nail आपका सिंक हो जाता है, राइट? एक बड़ी सी ह्यूज शिप अगर आप ले लो, वो सिंक नहीं होती, राइट? वो फ्लोट करती है. ऐसा सोचा आपने, ऐसा क्यों होता है? What is the reason behind this? Yes, ये सारी चीजें हम पढ़ेंगे आज की क्लास में. So one by one. First is, let's suppose if you are dropping a coin in water, what is going to happen? Yes, tell me, क्या होगा? क्या ये sink करेगा या float करेगा? Sink or float? Yes, it will, for sure it will sink, right? अब ये sink क्यों करता है वो भी हम देखेंगे. Next is, अगर हमने wooden block को लिया तो wooden block क्या होगा? वो float करेगा या sink करेगा? Yes, tell me, it will, for sure it will float. दिस इज क्लियर, वो फ्लोट करता है, देखा है आपने भी, हमने भी देखा है। यस अब हम डिस्कस करते हैं कि ये फ्लोट क्यों कर रहा है और आपका एरर सिंक क्यों कर रहा है, ठीक है। सो व्हाई डू सम ऑब्जेक्ट्स फ्लोट? तो फर्स्ट इज there are two forces acting on an object when you are immersing any object in the liquid. The first force is the gravitational force, for sure उस पे gravitational force तो act करेगा, so gravitational force will act on the ball. Second force is the buoyant force. ये buoyant force होता क्या है? buoyant force एक ऐसा force है जो कि liquid upward direction में किसी भी object पे लगाता है। दिस इज क्लियर। जब एक ऑब्जेक्ट को आप अंदर डालते हो लिक्विड के, सो इन दैट केस द अपवर्ड फोर्स व्हिच लिक्विड एक्सर्ट ऑन एनी ऑब्जेक्ट इज व्हाट वी कॉल्ड एज buoyant force. So what is buoyant force? The buoyant force acts upward and it is exerted by the water and opposing the object's weight. This is clear. वो किसको अपोज करता है? Yes, gravitational force को अपोजिट करता है। This is clear now? Yes. So when an object is placed on the surface of water, there are two forces will act. First is gravitational force and second is what? Buoyant force. This is clear. Now अब ये डूबेगा, सिंक करेगा या फ्लोट करेगा, ये डिपेंड किस पे करेगा? Yes, it depends on कि कौन सा फोर्स ज्यादा है। Yes, तो वन बाय वन डिस्कस करते हैं। कब कोई ऑब्जेक्ट फ्लोट करेगा? जब, टेल मी। Yes, if we'll see when whether the object floats or sink depends on the force is greater. Which force is greater? Gravity or buoyant force? तो वन बाय वन डिस्कस करते हैं कि अगर ग्रेविटी ज्यादा होती है तब क्या होगा, इफ buoyant force ज्यादा होता है तो क्या होगा, ठीक है। सो विल डिस्कस वन बाय वन। इमेजिन अच्छा एक चीज और देखते हैं, मैं आपको एक एक्टिविटी परफॉर्म करने के लिए कहता हूं, दैट इमेजिन ट्राइंग अ पुशिंग एम्प्टी प्लास्टिक वाटर बॉटल, व्हाट यू आर गोइंग टू फील, टेल मी। इवन इफ यू विल ट्राई, एक क्या करना है आपको, एक मग लेना है, ठीक है। ट्राई टू फिल अ बकेट विद द वाटर, पूरा वाटर से फिल करना है, ठीक। देन टेक अ एम्प्टी मग, okay, so what you have to do, just invert that mug and try to push that mug in the water which is filled with the water with like let's suppose एक पूरा आपने बकेट लिया, ठीक है, उसमें लिक्विड भर लिया। now just take the jar, okay, कोई भी जार ले लीजिए, एक मग ले लीजिए, and you have to invert that jar, okay, पुश करिए, वाटर में पुश करेंगे, so you are going to feel a force, you are going to feel a upward force, so that upward force is what we call as buoyant force। एक upward force आप for sure feel करने वाले हैं, so that is buoyant force, ठीक है। so try to perform this experiment, even when you are going to push any empty bottle, what you are going to feel, the water is pushing it back, okay, so that upward force is what we call as buoyant force। ये करके देखेंगे आप सबको, आप एक्सपेरिमेंट करना है। you have to take a bucket which is filled with water, okay, and take a mug and invert that mug like this, for sure you are going to feel an upward force. That upward force is nothing but a buoyant force. This is clear now? This is clear? Yes, if you have any doubts you can ask me in the chat. किसी को कोई डाउट है? Yes, no doubts, okay, now so just note this down, that what is buoyant force? Buoyant force is the upward force exerted by liquid on an object which is immersed in it, okay, and it always acts upward, that opposes the gravity and helps the objects float, okay, just note this down, everyone, okay। now these are some examples of buoyant force. You can see the ship, you can see like even when man is swimming, you are going to swim, that is also example of buoyant force, okay। now we are going to discuss that when an object floats and when an object is going to sink. So if the buoyant force is greater than that of weight, for sure the object is going to float. This is clear. Let's suppose if you are taking an object into a liquid, okay, and the gravitational force is pulling it downwards, okay, and the buoyant force is pulling it upwards. Now if this upward force is greater than that of downward force, for sure the object is going to float, right? So that's why if the buoyant force is greater than that of weight, the object is going to float. This is clear. So an object floats when the buoyant force is equal to or greater than that of its weight, and it remains on the surface of liquid, example like wooden block, cork, ice cube, and even an empty plastic bottle is going to float, right? This is clear? Yes, any doubt in this? Yes, any doubts? Okay, no doubts. Now, gravity, again I told you there are two types of forces. Gravity is pulling the object downwards, and water pushes the any objects upward with the same force, and since both the forces balance each other, the object flows. This is clear now? Yes. Now we'll discuss about when an object is going to sink. Again, if the weight is, now let's suppose weight is the dominating factor. Now weight is the dominating factor. Let's suppose this object, when I measure this object, and this time the weight, the downward force is dominating the upward force. In that case, what is going to happen? The object is going to sink. So remember this thing, that if weight of an object is greater than that of buoyant force, the object is going to sink. This is clear? Yes. So an object sinks when its weight is greater than that of buoyant force, and the object moves to the bottom of liquid, like examples, coin, iron nail, stone, marble. So the object will going to sink for sure when you are putting any object into it. This is clear now? So when weight of an object is greater than that of buoyant force, the object is going to sink. This is clear? Okay. Now one by one we'll discuss. This is the first case, this is the second case, and the third case. Okay, now let's suppose if the buoyant force is greater than that of weight of object. You can see this is known as positively buoyant. Okay, the object is going to float on the surface of water. Okay, now if the both forces are equal, again the object is going to float, but it will float on just near to the surface of water, just below the surface. Let's suppose this is the surface of water, the object is going to float at this point. This is clear now? This is clear. So we call this as neutrally buoyant. This is clear now? Now, third thing is negatively buoyant. Now, if the weight of object is more than that of buoyant force, then object is going to sink, right? And we call this as negatively buoyant. This is clear now? Yes. इसमें किसी कोई doubt? Yes. Hello Sneha, thank you. Okay. Now next is what are the factors that affect floating and sinking. Okay, अब ये floating and sinking किन factors पे depend करते हैं, ये हम discuss करते हैं, right? So first it depends on density of object, and second depends on the density of liquid. So one by one we'll discuss. The density of object affecting floating means if objects having the less density than that of water will float. मतलब कोई भी object जिनकी density कम है compared to that of liquid, for sure they are going to float on that liquid. This is clear? Yes. अगर दूसरा कोई ऑब्जेक्ट है जिसका डेंसिटी ज्यादा है कंपेयर टू दैट ऑफ लिक्विड, वो क्या करेगा? वो सिंक कर जाएगा. दिस इज क्लियर नाउ? यस. अभी बात ये आती है, डू यू नो व्हाट इज डेंसिटी? यस, व्हाट इज डेंसिटी? क्या आपको पता है व्हाट इज डेंसिटी? डेंसिटी होती क्या है? यस, टेल मी. ये डेंसिटी के बारे में पता है आपको क्या होती है डेंसिटी? यस. Okay, so what is density? Density is different from that of mass. Density is nothing but density is mass per unit volume. Density is what? Mass per unit volume. Like how much mass any object contain in per unit volume, वो होता है density. Now, कभी आपने ये सोचा, अभी हमने डिस्कस कर रहे थे that the ship is not floating. That ship float करता है, sorry, the ship floats, but the iron nail sink. ऐसा क्यों होता है? इतना भारी सा, इतना ज़्यादा मास है उसके अंदर, right? Still the ship is floating, right? But आयरन नेल तो सिंक कर जाता है. यस, तो वो अभी हम डिस्कस करते हैं. ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन है, कई बार पूछा जा चुका है, दैट व्हाई द शिप फ्लोट्स बट आयरन नेल सिंक्स. ये हम डिस्कस करेंगे. नाउ द सेकंड इज द डेंसिटी ऑफ लिक्विड आल्सो मैटर. अभी डेंसिटी ऑफ लिक्विड भी डिपेंड करता है. अगेन द ऑब्जेक्ट फ्लोट्स मोर इजीली इन द डेंसर लिक्विड लाइक दैट ऑफ सॉल्ट वाटर. ठीक है, आप ट्राई कर सकते हैं. लेट सपोज मैं आपको इससे एक्सप्लेन करता हूँ. लेट सपोज एक ऑब्जेक्ट है, राइट, लाइक लिक्विड ले लिया हमने. Let's suppose this is a liquid. In liquid, the molecules are not that much completely packed as compared to that of solid. तो ये आपके molecules हैं. Okay. So there are some empty spaces in between these molecules. Now, what will happen if I will put some salt in that water? क्या होगा? ये molecules of जो आपके salt के particle हैं, ये क्या करेंगे? ये vacant space fill कर देंगे, right? They are going to fill the vacant space. So what is going to happen if you'll see in this part of volume, the mass is more. You are getting my point? if you want to increase the density, क्या करना है आपको, salt डालना है water में. So for that case, in that case, the density of the salt water is more than that of density of the normal water. ये समझ में आया कैसे कि वो जो vacant space है between the molecules of the water वो fill हो जाएंगी from that of the particles of the salt. This is clear now? Yes. So that's why it is easier to float in the Dead Sea in compared to that of the swimming pool. This is clear now? Yes. Any doubt in this? Yes. So if you want to increase the density, what you have to do, if you want to increase the density of any liquid, just put some salt in that. Okay. Now, मैंने कहा था इसके बारे में डिस्कस करेंगे कि ऐसा शिप, इतने बड़ा शिप क्यों नहीं सिंक करता है ना, वो फ्लोट करता है बट आयरन नेल इजीली इट विल सिंक, राइट. सो इसका फैक्टर ये किस वजह से है. जस्ट रिमेंबर दिस थिंग, जस्ट नाउ आई टोल्ड यू दैट डेंसिटी is equal to mass per unit volume. Yes, as we know for sure the mass of nail is very less than that of the mass of ship, right? But if we'll see the volume of the ship is more, it's very more. Let's suppose we will take in the ship, what will happen, the mass, let's suppose ऐसे कुछ भी ले लेते हैं, mass is 5 kg, right? मैंने कुछ भी ले लिया mass, but the volume is 6 मीटर क्यूब. और या इसको ऐसे लिख लीजिए आप कि मास है आपका 500 ओके, 500 ग्राम ले लेते हैं हम, ओके, एंड वॉल्यूम आपका हो गया 600 सेंटीमीटर क्यूब. तो अगर इसको कैलकुलेट करेंगे तो क्या आ जाएगा, डेंसिटी इज इक्वल टू 5/6 ग्राम पर सेंटीमीटर क्यूब, राइट. बट as we know that the density of water is equal to 1 gram per centimeter cube. Density of water is what? 1 gram per centimeter cube. And if you observe this thing, that density of the ship is less than that of density of water. This is clear. मैं आपको समझाना क्या चाहता हूँ, that volume is much bigger than that of, let's suppose आपने कोई वॉल्यूम लिया, वॉल्यूम आपने नेल का ले लिया, तो वॉल्यूम जो नेल का होता है वो बहुत कम होता है than that of ship. एंड जब आप शिप लेते हैं, the ship is having more vacant space, right? A solid block of steel. Why a solid block of sink? Why it sink? Because उसका वॉल्यूम बहुत कम होता है, बट इसका वॉल्यूम जो होता है, द वॉल्यूम ऑफ वाटर डिस्प्लेस्ड बाय दैट ऑफ द शिप इज मच मोर देन दैट ऑफ द वॉल्यूम ऑफ वाटर डिस्प्लेस्ड बाय दिस ब्लॉक. दिस इज क्लियर नाउ. इसका एम्प्टी स्पेस बहुत ज्यादा होता है. एम्प्टी स्पेस होने की वजह से जो आपका शिप का एम्प्टी स्पेस होता है, बिकॉज ऑफ विच द डेंसिटी ऑफ दैट शिप इज लेस देन दैट ऑफ द डेंसिटी ऑफ लिक्विड. दैट्स व्हाई वो फ्लोट करता है. ये चीज समझ में आई आप लोग को, ये रीजन समझ में आए. इवन अ हैवी शिप फ्लोट्स बिकॉज इट्स एवरेज डेंसिटी बिकम लेस देन दैट ऑफ वाटर. यही एक रीजन है कि उसका एम्प्टी स्पेस इतना ज्यादा होता है, जिसका वॉल्यूम, इसकी वजह से वॉल्यूम उसका बहुत ज्यादा रहता है. वॉल्यूम ज्यादा होने की वजह से डोमिनेट करता है वो मास को. दिस इज क्लियर नाउ? यस, दिस इज क्लियर. टेल मी. तो जब ओवर आप डेंसिटी कैलकुलेट करते हो, एवरेज डेंसिटी कैलकुलेट करते हो, इट विल कम लेस देन दैट ऑफ वाटर. As we know, the density of water is what? 1 gram per centimeter cube, right? तो अगर आपका ऐसे सोचिए, if the denominator is more than that of numerator, in that case क्या होगा? Density तो less than 1 आने वाली है आपकी. Yes, density for sure less than 1 आएगी. And because of which the density of ship is less than that of water, and because of which the ship is going to float on the water. This is clear now? Yes, this is clear. Any doubt? Do you have any doubt? इसमें किसी कोई doubt? So these types of question will come in your exams. Okay, this is very important question for your exam point of view. Okay, this is very important question. So just note this down. You can note this down. Okay. Now we'll solve some questions. It's time for questions. So first question is, why does a heavy, just now we have discussed this thing, why does a heavy steel ship float on water while a small iron nail is going to sink? Just now we have discussed this question. The answer of this question is that a ship is hollow, right? I told you a major part of ship is hollow, and because of which its average density is less than that of water, and it experiences enough buoyant force to float compared to that of iron nail. Why iron nail is denser than that of water? So its weight is greater than that of buoyant force, and because of which the iron nail is going to sink. This is clear? Yes, tell me this is clear. Yes, okay. तो एक चीज और आपको मैं समझाता हूँ, ये you are going to learn this thing in the higher classes about the Archimedes principle. Okay, Archimedes principle. So you are going to learn this thing in class 9, but let's suppose if you are preparing for the Olympiad exam ना, so ये आपसे पूछा जा सकता है. तो what is Archimedes principle? That let's suppose if you are taking an object, right? If you are taking an object and let's suppose this is a liquid, and if you place an object on the liquid, it will displace some liquid, right? It is going to displace some liquid, and if it will take the weight of that displaced liquid, if that weight of displaced liquid is more than that of buoyant force, it is going to sink. ये समझ में आया? Let's suppose एक आपने ऑब्जेक्ट ले लिया, ठीक है? Let's suppose this is a beaker, and if we kept some liquid in this beaker, and there is one object placed in this liquid. Okay, now for sure it's going to displace the part of some liquid, it is going to displace some part of liquid. Now the weight of this liquid, the weight of this displaced part of the liquid is greater than, let's suppose if this weight of displaced part of the liquid is greater than that of buoyant force, for sure it's going to sink. तो ये आपका आर्किमिडीज प्रिंसिपल कहता है that if you place any object partially or fully in that of liquid, the weight of displaced liquid is less than that of the weight, or is less than that of the buoyant force, then object is going to float. This is clear now? तो आर्किमिडीज प्रिंसिपल क्या कहता है? When we place an object partially, or fully in a liquid, the weight of displaced liquid is equal to the buoyant force, exerted by an object. Okay, exerted by an object. तो ये आप आर्किमिडीज प्रिंसिपल ये आप पढ़ने वाले हैं हाई क्लासेस में, ठीक है? एंड इसको भी आप समझा सकते हो. लेट्स सपोज आपने शेप लिया, ओके, देयर इज अ शेप, व्हाई इट्स फ्लोट्स बिकॉज ऑफ आर्किमिडीज प्रिंसिपल. व्हाई? बिकॉज व्हेन यू आर पुटिंग एनी ऑब्जेक्ट ऑन एनी लिक्विड, ओके, एंड द वेट, लेट्स सपोज द वेट ऑफ डिस्प्लेस्ड लिक्विड is less than that of the buoyant force, for sure it's going to sink. But अगर वो weight ज्यादा हो गया, than that of a buoyant force, वो क्या करेगा? Sink कर जाएगा. This is clear now? Tell me this is clear? This is clear बेटा? Okay, so ये आपका आर्किमिडीज प्रिंसिपल, ये आर्किमिडीज ने दिया था. तो ये भी आप एक रीजन लिख सकते हैं. Why does a heavy steel ship float on a water while a iron nail is going to sink? Now, why does a person weigh less on the moon but have the same mass? ये भी हमने डिस्कस किया आज ही क्लास में कि why the weight of a person is going to reduce. Let's suppose the weight of an object on the earth is 60 न्यूटन. अगर किसी भी ऑब्जेक्ट का वेट 60 न्यूटन है ना अर्थ, तो अगर इसको हम अर्थ पे मान लेते हैं कि 60 न्यूटन है, ऑन मून व्हाट इज द वेट ऑफ दैट ऑब्जेक्ट? टेल मी. इसी ऑब्जेक्ट का वेट ऑन द मून क्या हो जाएगा? 60 डिवाइड बाय 6, दैट इज 10 न्यूटन, राइट? एंड आई टोल्ड यू कि कैसे 6 बाय 6 टाइम्स क्यों रिड्यूस हो रहा है. आई टोल्ड यू ना, व्हाई? बिकॉज द मास ऑफ मून एंड द रेडियस ऑफ मून इज लेस देन दैट ऑफ द अर्थ. दिस इज क्लियर? और ये किस पे डिपेंड करता है? टेल मी. The value of G depends on the mass of moon and radius of moon square. This is clear? ये फैक्टर से हम देखते हैं कि क्या होता है, आपका वेट लेस है कंपेयर टू दैट ऑफ अर्थ, बट मास क्यों नहीं चेंज हो रहा है? व्हाई? बिकॉज द अमाउंट ऑफ मैटर प्रेजेंट इन एनी ऑब्जेक्ट इज व्हाट वी कॉल्ड एज मास, एंड मैटर, द अमाउंट ऑफ मैटर इज नॉट गोइंग टू चेंज, राइट? अगर आप जुपिटर पे जा रहे हो या सैटर्न पे जा रहे हो, यूरेनस पे जा रहे हो, the mass is not going to change. Why? Because the amount of matter is not going to change, but the radius, the mass of the planet is going to change, and because of that the acceleration due to gravity is going to change, and because of that weight is going to change. This is clear? Yes? Any doubt in this? So you can write that weight depends on the force of gravity and which is weaker on the moon, but mass is the amount of matter in the body and does not change from place to place. This is clear, guys? Yes. Any doubt? Any doubt in this concept? No doubts. Okay. Now, the third question. A wooden block and a stone of the same size are placed in water. Explain why one floats and the other sinks. Same concept. अभी wooden block जो आपने लिया and stone लिया, right? So they have different masses. Okay. And because of which, let's suppose they have given that they have same size, right? So एक हमने stone ले लिया, like this is stone, and this is a wooden block, right? This is a wooden block. Now if they have same size means they have same volume. If they have same size means they have same volume. But if they have same volume doesn't mean that they have same mass, right? This is clear now? This is clear? Yes, tell me. So if the mass is greater, in that case density of a stone is greater than that of density of wooden block, and because of which the stone is going to sink but wooden block is going to float on a water. This is clear? Yes. So the wooden block is less dense that of water, so the buoyant force balances its weight and it floats, while the stone is denser than that of water, so its weight is greater than that of buoyant force and it is going to sink in the water. This is clear? Yes. Any doubt in this? Any doubt in this question, beta? No doubts? Okay, okay. Now, the fourth question. Why is it easier to float in a dead sea than in a swimming pool? अब इसका क्या रीजन है? अभी जस्ट ये भी हमने डिस्कस किया, राइट? नाउ एक बार फिर से डिस्कस कर लेते हैं. लेट्स सपोज इफ दिस इज अ लिक्विड, okay? Now the molecules of the liquid are not that much closely packed compared to that of a solid, right? Let's suppose these are the molecules of a liquid. And if you will see the molecules of liquid, when we put some salt in it, then what will happen? The salt particle is going to fill the places. Now these are some vacant spaces between the molecules, right? And when we put the salt molecules in these vacant spaces, then the density of water, the density of the salt water is going to increase, right? And because of which it is easier for us to float on a salty water. This is clear? Yes, this is clear now. So if you'll see in this part, for sure the mass is greater now. If you'll see in this part compared to this part, the mass is greater than that of this part, right? And because of which the any object is going to float in the salt water. This is clear now? This is clear? So easier, not any object. It is easier for any object to float on a salt water compared to that of a normal water. This is clear now? So the Dead Sea contains a large amount of dissolved salt, making the water denser, and the denser water exert a greater buoyant force, making it easier to float. This is clear? Yes? Any doubt? Any doubt in this question? You can ask me any doubt. Okay. Now, the fifth question. A plastic bottle floats on water. What will happen if it is completely filled with the sand? Tell me, what will happen? So, same happens here also. Let's suppose if this is a bottle. Okay, this bottle is empty, right? This bottle is empty, and because of which the density of this bottle is less, right? But if I'm going to fill a sand, if I'm going to fill the sand in this empty bottle, what is going to happen? Now the density of this bottle, the density of the bottle which is filled with the sand is greater than that of the density of the empty bottle, right? You're getting my point? And because of which the bottle will sink. This is clear now. So a plastic bottle floats on water, but when we are going to put some sand in that empty bottle, the bottle is going to sink. This is clear? This is clear? So the bottle will sink because filling it with the sand, increasing its weight, and average density, and because of which the buoyant force is no longer enough to support it, so it is sink. This is clear now? Yes, so these are very important questions, very important questions. So just revise this question. And one more concept I'm going to tell you. There is one more concept that sometimes they are going to ask you that 1 gram per centimeter cube is why 1 gram per centimeter cube is greater than that of 1 kilogram per meter cube. Okay, तो ये थोड़ा अजीब सा लग रहा है देखने में. As we know that 1 kg is greater than that of 1 gram. ये तो हमें पता है ना, 1 kg is equal to 1000 ग्राम. तो फॉर श्योर 1 kg ज्यादा होता है 1 ग्राम से. बट 1 ग्राम पर सेंटीमीटर क्यूब इज ग्रेटर देन दैट ऑफ 1 kg पर मीटर क्यूब, है ना. तो ये क्यों लिख दिया मैंने? ये क्या गलत लिख दिया मैंने कुछ? क्या इसमें मैंने कुछ गलती की है? नहीं, गलती नहीं की है. मैं आपको समझाता हूं. सो 1, लेट सपोज अगर हम इसको कैलकुलेट करते हैं दैट 1 kg इज इक्वल टू हाउ मेनी ग्राम्स? 1000 ग्राम. ओके, एंड 1 मीटर इज इक्वल टू हाउ मेनी सेंटीमीटर? 100 सेंटीमीटर, राइट. ये हमें पता है. अगर 1 मीटर क्यूब के बारे में बात करें तो कितना सेंटीमीटर क्यूब के इक्वल होगा? वो 10 to the power 6 सेंटीमीटर क्यूब. 100 into 100 into 100, राइट. अब इन दोनों को डिवाइड कर देते हैं तो क्या मिलेगा हमें? 1 kg पर मीटर क्यूब इज इक्वल टू 1000 ग्राम डिवाइड बाय 10 to the power 6 मीन्स इसको 10 to the power 6 ही लिख लेते हैं, ठीक है, ग्राम पर सेंटीमीटर क्यूब. सो व्हाट वी आर गोइंग टू गेट मी? टेल मी. सो 1 kg per meter cube is equal to 1 upon 10 to the power 3 ग्राम पर सेंटीमीटर क्यूब. अब इसको ध्यान से देखिए इसको. दैट 1, अब इसको अगर हम ऐसे लिखेंगे, क्रॉस मल्टीप्लाई करें तो 1 ग्राम पर सेंटीमीटर क्यूब इज इक्वल टू 1 ग्राम पर सेंटीमीटर क्यूब इज इक्वल टू 10 की पावर 3 kg पर मीटर क्यूब, राइट. ध्यान से देखिए इस इक्वेशन को. सो यू विल सी दैट 1 ग्राम per centimeter cube is equal to 10 to the power 3 kg per meter cube. This is clear. So अभी इसको यहाँ पुट करोगे तो आपको समझ में आ रहा होगा that why 1 gram per centimeter cube is greater than that of 1 kg per meter cube. तो इससे भी आप क्या एक्सप्लेन कर सकते हैं? That mass and density both are different concept. मास अलग चीज है, डेंसिटी अलग चीज है. 1 kg is greater than that of 1 gram, but 1 gram per centimeter cube is greater than that of 1 kg per meter cube. This is clear. This is clear. So क्यों ऐसा है? क्योंकि यहां पे वॉल्यूम भी कंसीडर किया जा रहा है. This is clear now. तो डेंसिटी एंड मास दोनों अलग कॉन्सेप्ट है, इससे भी आप एक्सप्लेन कर सकते हो, ठीक है. This is clear. तो ये बहुत अच्छा क्वेश्चन है और ये ओलंपियाड में भी पूछा जा चुका है, बहुत बार पूछा जा चुका है, ठीक है. तो इस चीज को याद रखिएगा. एंड विद दिस we'll end this chapter. This is the end of this chapter. The first chapter for physics, that is pressure. ठीक है, ये हमने एंड कर दिया. इस चैप्टर पूरा हमने देख लिया हमने, ठीक है. ये अब नेक्स्ट चैप्टर का प्रेशर रहेगा. दिस चैप्टर फोर्स, और हमने सारी चीजें देखी. हमने वेट के बारे में समझा, दैट व्हाट इज वेट. पूरी चीजें देखी हमने. कॉन्टैक्ट फोर्स क्या होता है, नॉन कॉन्टैक्ट फोर्स क्या होता है, राइट. सारी चीजें हमने पिछले क्लास में देख ली थी. फिर आज हमने देखा ग्रेविटी के बारे में समझा. ग्रेविटी किस पे डिपेंड करती है, वेट किस पे डिपेंड करता है. फिर हमने बायंट फोर्स देखा क्या होता है, राइट. ऑब्जेक्ट फ्लोट कब करेगा, ऑब्जेक्ट सिंक कब करेगा. दिस इज क्लियर नाउ. तो ये चैप्टर हमने फिनिश कर लिया. नेक्स्ट चैप्टर हम प्रेशर के बारे में पढ़ने वाले हैं, ठीक है. तो प्रिपेयर होइएगा उस चैप्टर के लिए भी. एंड आई विल सजेस्ट यू टू जस्ट रिवाइज दिस कॉन्सेप्ट. सारे कॉन्सेप्ट को आपको रिवाइज करना है. एंड इफ यू हैव एनी डाउट यू कैन आस्क मी इन द नेक्स्ट क्लास आल्सो. सो अगेन मैं आपको सजेस्ट करूंगा कि आप एक बार जाइए हमारे पोर्टल पे, ठीक है, सिस्या क्लास पोर्टल पे जाइए एंड जस्ट गो फॉर द बूस्टर कोर्स. मैथ चैम्प कोर्स है वहाँ पे, आपको सिस्या टॉपर प्रोग्राम में किसी में भी आप एनरोल कर सकते हैं. एंड इट्स वेरी सिंपल प्रोसेस. जस्ट लॉग इन एंड जस्ट गो टू द sisyaclass.com/LTC. यू कैन बुक योर ग्रेड एंड यू कैन जस्ट क्लिक ऑन एनी ग्रेड लाइक क्लास 6, 7, जिसमें भी आप है उसको क्लिक करना है. देन you will get a pop-up window जिसमें आपको अपना मोबाइल नंबर लिखना है, स्टेट लिखना है, एंड यू कैन बुक द डेमो फ्रॉम दैट, ठीक है. आप सीधे काउंसलर को भी फोन कर सकते हैं या आपके पास काउंसलर का फोन भी आ जाएगा जब आप यहाँ रजिस्टर करते हैं, ठीक है. सो ये करना है आपको. एंड अगर आपको सेशन पसंद आ रहा है तो आप इसको लाइक, शेयर, सब्सक्राइब करिए. बेल आइकन को हिट करिए फॉर द लेटेस्ट नोटिफिकेशंस. हमारा आपका केमिस्ट्री का भी क्लास चल रहा है, ठीक है. आपका बायो का क्लास भी चल रहा है, मैथ्स का भी क्लास चल रहा है. तो उसको भी देखिएगा आप, एंड डोंट फॉरगेट टू सब्सक्राइब, इसको शेयर करिएगा, एंड दैट्स ऑल फ्रॉम माय साइड। हम यही क्लास को एंड करते हैं, नेक्स्ट क्लास में हम और डिस्कस करेंगे इसके बारे में। सेकंड क्लास हमारी रहेगी प्रेशर की, ठीक है, तो उसके लिए अच्छे से प्रिपेयर करिएगा और सारे क्वेश्चन सॉल्व करिएगा। एक सेशन हम एनसीईआरटी के क्वेश्चंस भी लेके आएंगे, ठीक है, एनसीईआरटी क्वेश्चंस भी सॉल्व कराएंगे आपको, ठीक है। सो विल सॉल्व सम एनसीईआरटी क्वेश्चंस, सारे एनसीईआरटी क्वेश्चंस विल सॉल्व फॉर दिस चैप्टर एंड फॉर ईच एंड एवरी चैप्टर, एंड विल एंड द सेशन हियर ओनली। इफ यू हैव एनी डाउट यू कैन आस्क मी। यस, एनी डाउट्स माय डियर स्टूडेंट्स, एनी डाउट्स? किसी को कोई डाउट्स है तो पूछ सकता है। No doubts? Okay, so we'll end the session here. So that's all from my side. Thank you. Bye bye. Take care.